Let's do this. 100% ready now. Alright guys, this is going to be a map chat on Karelia. Starting out with the south spawn and light tanks. At the very beginning of the match, one of the best and quickest, biggest impacts you can make on the map is to actually rush south, get up onto the hill right here, and get to their side. From south, you can usually beat the guys north, and you'll have a good head start to getting uphill, so you can get to this back corner in this area and be able to stop their advance up it. You don't want to do that solo. If you have other mediums right behind you to help give you support and protect you from their mediums and light tanks pushing up, then that's how far you want to push up. If you don't, then the furthest you really want to go is up to this corner to stop them from coming around. And pretty much all you're trying to do is once you beat out the other light tanks, the other mediums, you want to go into this area, start shooting the tanks down here, or lighting anything in this area, or anything over here that you can. If you do get spotted when you're up in this top area of the ridge, understand that you can get shot from tanks that are sitting back in this corner and back in this corner. Artillery will easily have shots in this area as well. So be careful about that. This is probably the safest spot to be in. Pretty much gives you cover from everything but over here, and nothing over here is going to spot you. So it's probably definitely the safest area to sit in and light things from. But you still, you still have freedom to move around and see what you can light and can't light. So that's pretty much what we're going to do there. The other option is to go north, force yourself up to either this area behind these rocks to light here to give you cover from artillery and their TDs sitting back in this area, or be a little bit more aggressive and force up into these rocks. Which one you pick, it's up to you. Understand that if you are in this area and you lose hill, they can shoot you pretty easily. So going too far forward would be way too hard or way too risky in case you lose hill. But if you do get it, lighting these are incredibly important because once you do win hill, they will have shots on most of the stuff here. So great damage and spotting damage you'll be able to get from either location. Another option is after you know you've won hill, you're guaranteed to win hill, pushing up to these rocks, spotting, make sure nothing comes through, then pushing up. I prefer this side closer to the hill since you already won it, and getting to one of these rocks right here to spot this stuff for your mediums and light tanks up on the hill to take out. It's a really strong location, but again, you want to make sure you won hill completely and have tanks still alive on it to do damage to what you spot, or artillery at least to do damage to what you spot. Because pushing this side and taking out their TDs here open up this whole area for your team to advance flanks onto the tanks sitting in this area and tanks sitting in this area. So just be careful not to get spotted. If you do get spotted here, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. They will send some tanks from this area back around to deal with you if there isn't already tanks in the base ready to deal with you. So you're kind of stuck out in the open right here if you get spotted. But it's an incredibly strong spot once you've already won hill. You can even win hill, then go down, rather burn out. Actually, you shouldn't run out like that, but down here and get behind the rock. Always a great option. All right, moving on to TDs. TDs are pretty straightforward on this map. Your best camo TDs will sit back here, and we'll zoom in and take a look at what I'm talking about. Let's get this as well. All right, so there's a tree back here. You'll end up sitting behind that tree, or in this general area, and you're going to be shooting at things that are back here. You definitely want to be in a highly camo tank, and you definitely want to be behind the tree. Understand that if they do push mediums up into this area, you can get spotted. Tanks sitting in this corner or in this area will spot you really easily. So you want to be aware of what's actually right here. If they're just sitting back on this corner, you should be fine. It's up until they get to this area that you need to start backing out or repositioning somewhere else. But all you're doing is sitting behind the tree. Everything that gets lit, you're taking a shot at and just destroying. Again, heavily camo TDs in this here. So things like the 183 and Waffle really will not work here very well since the changes they made to the map. But for the most part, you should be good in 268s, 263s right here. Right, so that's pretty much. I mean, you can go down into this area with your heavily armored TDs. You will be at a prime arty target, but it is possible that there's no artillery getting down into this area could be beneficial. You'll have shots that you wouldn't have over here onto the tanks around this corner, and be able to give hits. Again, you definitely want to be in like a E3 or a JPZ, something heavily armored that can bounce rounds, because all these tanks in this area will be shooting at you once they see you right there. All right, so let's change sides real quick. All right, another option is to immediately go north. Sitting behind these rocks right here will give you shots on the tanks as they push around these corners right here or the inside areas. It'll pretty much give you all the shots you need right here. You can also take shots from here onto the hill. If the enemies push up this side and they get onto the backside of this hill and your team is lighting up from this side, or you have a scout right here lighting them, you can take shots onto the hill and usually get a pretty good easy hit on up to it. It's always an option as well. Pushing up to this backside is also an option. But pretty much when you're on this side, you're going to support your mediums and your heavy tanks as they try to push in to clear out these tanks. And then you'll move forward with them and sit about here or somewhere back here and take out the TDs as they get spotted onto the hill, or shoot down into this area once tanks get spotted here. All right, moving on to mediums. Best place to go into medium at the very beginning is down here and get up onto the hill. Fight for the hill, win the hill. It gives you a strong strategic position on this map. For tanks, if they get lit here or they get lit here, you're usually guaranteed shots into these areas. You're pretty well protected from artillery against this side. Spotting anything that happens to pop up in this area is pretty easy as well. So it's definitely one of the strongest areas for medium on this map. You can shoot down into here as well, and it gives you a chance to poke out and spot the stuff right here for your TDs and your heavies to shoot at. So really strong spot. Another option, again, just like the light tanks, I would do this more with the Leopard 1 and some other tanks maybe, but high camo value or high camo tanks going up in this area to light. 140s and stuff going into this area right here to shoot up as well. So those work well. That's about really all it would take a medium. I mean, mediums can also, once you've won hill, come down here to spot as well if they can't light anything from up here. So, right now for heavies, let's start off with north. Some of your like E5s and 57s do really well north. So taking them north and fighting from this corner or this corner is a decent option. This one's a little bit more safe as far as getting shot from here. So on this corner, it's pretty safe. And your objective, just like in any other tank, or just like TDs and mediums, is to win this area, take out all the tanks in this area so you can advance onto this flank. So like I said, good depression, fast heavies are usually best here. Now for south, pushing onto this corner, or if you're again 57 E5s can usually make it around. French heavies are usually really good at making it around to this corner, so you can fight from this corner. But if you can't, like if you're in a Hunter or in a Mouse, either going down into here or going into here are your best options. And again, you're just trying to push onto here. And that is pretty much it for heavies and those tanks on that side. So we're going to swap sides. Alright, started with light tanks, pretty much the same thing. Rush to this corner, try to get up here. Instead of this side being safe, this side is safe. But again, if you get spotted, you will get shot from stuff over here, so be careful. So, going north, it would be going up to here. There's trees up there you can stay safe at. Stay unlit, and it'll allow you to spot to here. In order for you to spot even further up, you're going to have to get a little bit more risky and go up to one of these rocks. Again, you're not particularly safe versus the hill from there, but you will get lights pretty easily to anything in this area. So a little bit risky, but definitely an option. And same thing for middle. If you've already won hill, there's really not as huge an advantage to actually go down and spot this stuff. Most of the stuff you can spot here because there's not as many trees, not as many areas for them to hide over. So your main focus is probably going to be to get down, get behind these hills, get to over here, and get up into this area so that you can move up here and light this stuff. Alright. Moving on to tank destroyers. Again, there's many a spots for you to sit on this wall, like either whether it be right here or back here, behind this rock right here, or the one right in front of it. All great spots for TDs to sit and get shots down into this area. You don't really want to go too far forward, mainly because if you win the hill, it's fine to start moving forward, but don't push right away. Let your heavies get into the area and start fighting. If you lose the hill, be in a position to move back and get back out of there, because once you get lit in these areas, their TDs will not be lit when they'll just be firing directly at you. Easy shots as well. So that's pretty much it for the south portion. Let's go ahead and move to the north. Right. From north, I prefer this backside. I don't really care for this side too much, but this backside gives you all the options you need to shoot. So right from the start, just moving in, going right to this backside right here to push is usually my favorite as far as setting up here. Gives you a place to back up and get from cover. Keeps you pretty close to being out of render range as well. So if you still start to get shot from the hill, you can usually get away pretty easily. So I prefer this area as far as TDs north go. And again, all you're trying to do is take out the tanks right here, right here, right here, and push in. Alright, moving on to mediums. Again, rushing south is your best option. Nothing changes. When things get lit, you can shoot them from here. This side is safe, right? And north, pretty much the same as TDs, the same area, sitting right here to get lights and shoot what you need to shoot. That's pretty much it on mediums. Heavy tanks, pushing around this corner with your heavily armored tanks, or sitting back here and getting ready to push around the corner if you win hill. If you do not win hill, then it's your job to defend your TDs. Don't let anything through. Keep them lit as they get close to you, and take hits as you need to. For your E5s and 57s, again, getting up to this middle area or the top here is definitely your better options. Understand when you're sitting too far back behind this rock, getting shot from the hill is extremely easy. So you want to be a little bit more forward onto that rock. Again, we'll look at it a little bit closer. Want to be more towards this corner right here and get ready to peek the corner a little bit more to shoot down here. If you're sitting past here, you're going to get shot really easily. So a couple things you have to pay attention to. Same thing goes for up here. And that pretty much covers everything for this map, so hope you guys enjoyed.